Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the first perennial garden tour. We're going to walk through a few of the gardens today. This first one is brand new this year, and I'm doing a lot of experimenting. I've got a few perennials like the geraniums that you see here, but I'm also having fun with some corn, sunflowers, dill. I've got some canna lilies in here as well. Just a beautiful flower on her. Moving along, you can also see some more cosmos and dill, and again, some more geraniums that I just picked up this year that should be perennial in my area. This should be a really fun garden to watch grow this year, tall, full of life. I've got some zinnia seeds that are popping up as well in the front, and some beautiful creeping thyme in the back that should cascade over the side as it gets larger. Just a fun, overall fun garden and experiment that I'm working with this year. Moving on to this next perennial garden. This is the second year this perennial garden is established. It does take 3 years for your perennial gardens to really establish their full roots, so be patient. As you can see in the background here, we have what's called a cup plant. This is a native to Wisconsin. It should grow another 4 feet or so, maybe more this year, but it can get up to 12 feet tall. So it's an excellent barrier screen cover, and it produces some beautiful yellow flowers late in the season. In this green stalk garden tower, I've added some calendula seeds as well as some black-eyed Susan seeds that you can see popping up here. This is going to have a really nice display late summer, as well as being able to use that calendula for herbal purposes. I've got some lavender that's coming back from last year. This should get nice and tall and fragrant. A little bit of a popcorn plant there. Some of my favorite flowers, and I always forget what their name is. I'll keep you updated in the next video. But these guys have some really cool blue prickly flowers. They're almost crunchy and to touch, but really fun flower. We'll see. That is also a perennial. Moving on to a new perennial bed that I just established this year. This is part of my herb collection. And this one is going to be dedicated to some sage. So I've got some cashmere sage here in a couple of places. And in the back, I've got some Russian sage that you can see is already blooming. I've got some oregano here and a few annuals. And in the front, I've got a little bit of rosemary. As we move on through the bed, I'm trying out some lime basil this year. Really excited about that. I've also got some lettuce leaf basil. And we threw in a nice little cherry tomato over here. This one is a currant tomato, mini cherry tomato. It's always room for snacks in the garden, right? And over here we've got some oregano as well. As this bed develops over the years, these perennials will really take over, and I won't have to put any annuals or extra spacing in here. So hoping that they last and really get large over the year. This next bed is a little bit of my problem bed. I planted this one last year kind of in a hurry and didn't do as much prep. So you're gonna see some dandelions coming up, but they're actually helping break up the soil for me. So we're gonna leave them this year. But I do have quite a variety of different plants here. In the front, I've got some peonies. These are both pink and red. And again, it's going to take another year or so before I start to get blooms here for them to establish themselves. I've got some tower lilies. They can get up to be about 12 feet tall. We've got some sedum in the middle, some yarrow. So overall, we've got some coreopsis and some sunflowers. It's really a mixed bag. I'm going to be honing this garden in over the next year or two and really defining it. Moving on to this second perennial bed. Again, this one established, this is year 2. This guy seems pretty happy. We've got what I call a popcorn plant. Gets really tall, these big, beautiful yellow flowers. As you can see, my daffodils and tulips are already spent this year. I'll add a few pictures of those moving forward. But we've got some bee balm, some chives. We've got some other natives as well. I'll update you guys on some of the names of these plants a little bit later. Got a little bit of cilantro and parsley and thyme. My hibiscus is coming up. Really excited. That's such a showstopper. You'll really enjoy this at the end of the season, but you can start to see he's coming up there. Butterfly bush, hydrangea in the back there. I've got some fern peonies. A few other plants that are really just loving this area. Again, this bed is going to be a showstopper. Looking forward to that mid to late summer blooms all throughout. And then the last bed for today's tour is my second perennial herbal bed. And here I've mixed together lavender, chamomile, and lemon verbena. These again should come back year after year and naturalize really well. Lots of new growth. They're really happy with where they're living. I've got a little tomato plant here, of course, and a few annuals as well to kind of even this bed out, and a little bit of creeping rosemary as well. Thanks for taking the tour today. I'll talk to you guys soon in a few weeks.